We are on page 18 of the online administration manual. And on page 18, we're going to look at the staff roles and responsibilities. First thing we're going to look at is the test coordinator role. The test coordinator may serve at only one location and must be on file at ACT, listed in Pearson Access Next under Manage Contacts. The test coordinator has overall responsibility for coordinating test operations, including storing materials and setting up test rooms. The test coordinator provides the continuity and administrative uniformity necessary to ensure that examinees are tested under standardized and secure conditions. Notice it says number required, 1 per site. All right, so let me show you in PA Next where to make sure that you are, if you're the test coordinator, that you are the contact listed. So if you go to PA Next, make sure it says ACT Spring 2022 and your school's listed here along with the ACT 6-digit code for your school. So you're going to go under Setup. We're going to go to Organizations right here, Organizations, and then when you it's still turning, and when it finally opens, let's see. All right, so you're gonna put a little check mark next to the high school, your high school, right here in that box, and then you're gonna go to the pane right here, the task pane. Click on the task pane, and you want to go where it says Manage Contacts. So when you go to Manage Contacts, and you click on Start, you're going to see the contact details for the test coordinator. So for this school, the coordinator is listed as Karen Ruffin. And there's the email address, the work phone, and the school address. Okay, so that's where you're going to go to verify that you are correctly listed as the test coordinator. If that is incorrect, if anything on here is incorrect, let me know as soon as possible. Also notice the shipping contact address is not the school. The shipping contact address is Krista McAuliffe. So that's where paper tests, that's where the room forms, administration forms will be sent. It will be sent to our office at Krista McAuliffe. All right, so let's go ahead and exit this task, and let's go back to the administration manual. Test coordinator responsibilities. First thing is to prepare facilities. You're going to select and reserve test rooms, prepare test rooms for test day according to ACT guidelines. Assign and train staff. Identify a sufficient number of qualified personnel to serve as room supervisors and proctors. Conduct a local training session for all testing staff before the test dates, including review of the administration materials and systems. Create user accounts for staff in Pearson Access Next. Coordinate testing activities. Submit accommodations and/or supports requests with the assistance of test accommodations coordinators. Let me go ahead and move this up a little. All right, so let's start over with coordinating testing activities. All right, so there's many things there in terms of that respect. So the first bullet says this: submit accommodations and/or support requests with the assistance of the test accommodations coordinators. Ensure all testing staff, including the test accommodations coordinator, are aware of tasks that need to be completed and the associated deadlines. Receive, check in, and securely store test materials. Schedule test dates within the test window for examinees testing with accommodations and supports. Arrange for examinees to complete non-test information. Plan seating arrangements for each room. Create a roster of examinees scheduled to test in each room before test day. Organize test materials for room supervisors, including printing and distributing student authorization tickets. Notify examinees of test dates, locations, and materials needed. Ensure site readiness checks are completed and prepare all computers with the assistance of the technical coordinator. Create test sessions and assign examinees to test sessions in Pearson Access Next. On the morning of test day, start test sessions in Pearson Access Next. Maintain security. Maintaining security. Read and comply with all policies and procedures in materials provided by ACT. Ensure tests are administered in strict compliance with all policies and procedures documented in these materials. Ensure all testing staff remain attentive to the testing responsibilities throughout the entire administration. Promptly return test materials to ACT after each test window. Provide a timely response to requests from ACT when additional information is needed. Ensure complete documentation. Ensure room supervisors complete all required documentation during the administration. Verify and return all documentation after testing. Oversee the documentation of all irregularities and consult directly with ACT regarding actions to be taken. Replacing the test coordinator. If the test coordinator is unable to supervise the test administration, the district test coordinator must update the test coordinator information on the Manage Contact screen in Pearson Access Next. Grant user access to the new test coordinator and delete the old test coordinator's user account. ACT uses Manage Contacts information for communications and shipments. Substitute test coordinator role. If the test coordinator becomes ill or is otherwise unable to be present on test day, the substitute serves as the test coordinator. If the test coordinator cannot be present on test day due to off-site testing, the test coordinator may appoint a substitute test coordinator to serve off-site. The substitute is encouraged to assist the test coordinator prior to, during, and after testing, and is also expected to participate in training provided by ACT prior to the test date. The substitute coordinator can serve at only one site. Number required, 1 per site. Substitute test coordinator responsibilities. The substitute test coordinator is responsible for all the same activities as the test coordinator. If the test coordinator is not present, the substitute carries out all needed activities. If the test coordinator is present, the substitute may assist the test coordinator as needed. Note, if the test coordinator is not able to supervise the administration, the substitute must notify the appropriate district official to update user access in Pearson Access Next. Test Accommodations Coordinator role. The Test Accommodations Coordinator may assist with activities around administering test accessibility supports. And this is optional, recommended 1 or 2. Test Accommodations Coordinator responsibilities. Submit requests for ACT authorized accommodations and English learner supports in the Test Accessibility and Accommodations System, TAA. Help organize materials for any examinees testing with accommodations and supports. Help with accommodations and EL support test administrations. Coordinate with the test coordinator to have email communications forward. Technical coordinator role. The technical coordinator installs and configures testing software and helps the test coordinator set up computers for testing. The person in this role must be available on test day to troubleshoot any technical issues that may arise. Number required, 1 per site. Technical coordinator responsibilities. Ensure the school's computers and infrastructure meet online testing requirements. Help the test coordinator and other staff set up for test day. Includes examinees and administrative computers and test rooms. Rerun applicable system checks the week before the test day on all applicable computers if the test environment is unfrozen for an update. Troubleshoot technical issues staff or examinees may have on test day. Additional responsibilities of Proctor Caching. Install Proctor Cache software on the Proctor Caching computer. Create the TestNav configurations in Pearson Access Next at both training.testadmin.act.org and testadmin.act.org. Pre-cache test content 2 days prior to testing. After all examinees have completed testing, purge all content from the Proctor caching computer. Room supervisor role. Each room must have a room supervisor responsible for all testing activities in that room. Each room supervisor must be present for the entire test session. The test coordinator may assume the role of room supervisor if only one room is used. Number required, 1 per test room. Room supervisor responsibilities. Before test day, assist the test coordinator as needed. Attend the training and briefing sessions conducted by the test coordinator. Check-in activities on test day. Individually identify and admit examinees to rooms. Verify ID and mark the roster. Direct examinees to seats once admitted. Ensure all examinees admitted to a room are assigned the same timing. Ensure all examinees authorized to test over multiple days are ready to begin the same test. Administer the test. Prepare the room for testing. Includes testing computers. Ensure the test nav login has the ACT above the username box on all testing computers. Take responsibility for a test room and provide an environment conducive to testing. Distribute student authorization tickets and scratch paper to examinees. Help examinees log into TestNav. Retrieve seal codes from Pearson Access Next and help examinees enter them to start individual tests. All right, continuing on page 21. The room supervisor during testing also does the following. Read verbal instructions verbatim to examinees. For 1 1/2 time testing, which are timing codes 6 and 7, properly time test and record the start, 5 minutes remaining, and the stop times on the test administration forms. Use Pearson Access Next to unblock, monitor, and manage and stop test sessions for the room. Ensure examinees submit all tests and log out of TestNav before dismissal. Lock the test session in Pearson Access Next if testing over multiple days. Close TestNav and Pearson Access Next. Maintaining security. Keep test materials secure during testing and breaks. Monitor for prohibitive behavior during testing and breaks. Collect and account for all test materials before dismissing examinees. Ensure complete documentation. Complete all information on the appropriate administration forms. Document irregularities in Pearson Access Next. Return all test materials and forms to the test coordinator after testing. Proctor Roll. As test rooms increase in size, proctors are required to assist the room supervisors. Number required. The following table describes the minimum number of required proctors. If your state or district has a stricter proctor policy, you should abide by that policy. Number of proctors needed for standard time ACT online administrations. It's number of students, 1 to 30. Proctors required, proctors needed, 1. Notice there's an asterisk there, and so the asterisk says this: ACT recommends the use of a proctor in case of technical difficulties, but it's not required. So it's a very good idea for standard time rooms that you have the room supervisor and a proctor. Have 2 people in there. And then 31 through 60, number of proctors required is 2. Notice there's no asterisk, so if you have 32 students in the room, 33, you need 2 proctors, and then so on. Then the next part, at the bottom of page 21, is for the number of proctors needed for accommodations, supports, ACT online administration. So if the number of accommodation support examinees in a room is between 1 and 20, you need proctors needed, 1 with an asterisk, and the asterisk again is ACT recommends the use of a proctor in case of technical difficulties, but it's not required. And then 21 through 40, 2. Now remember, if a student's IEP requires small group testing, you cannot have that student in a room with more than 8 students. So the room must be 8 or less. So the student's IEP in Louisiana says small group testing, the maximum number of students in that room can only be 8. And it's still a good idea, though, to have a proctor in that room. These are the responsibilities of the proctor. Before test day, assist the test coordinator as needed. Attend the training and briefing sessions conducted by the test coordinator. Check in activities on test day. Help room supervisors individually identify and admit examinees. Direct examinees to their seats. Administer the test. Prepare the room for testing. Distribute student authorization tickets and scratch paper to examinees. Help examinees log into TestNav. Help examinees enter seal codes to start individual tests. For 1 1/2 testing, timing code 6 and 7. Verify proper timing of tests using a different timepiece than the room supervisor. Monitor testing progress and ensure all examinees submit all tests and log out of TestNav before dismissal. The proctor will also maintain security, monitor for prohibited behavior during testing and breaks, report any irregularities to the room supervisor immediately, accompany examinees to the restroom if more than one leaves during the timed portion of the test, collect and account for all test materials before examinees are dismissed. The roving proctor roll, so you can also have a roving proctor. Schools that use multiple rooms, floors, or buildings are encouraged to appoint roving proctors to assist the test coordinator, and this is optional. Roving proctor responsibilities will assist with check-in and or directing examinees to test rooms and seats, help the test coordinator prepare the test room for the test materials for test rooms, monitor hallways or escort examinees, give room supervisors a break during testing, keep the hallways quiet if other rooms are still testing, count and prepare test materials for return to ACT. Rotating proctor roll. Proctors are normally expected to serve in a single assigned room for the entire test session. However, if schedules require, proctors may be rotated or replaced at the break, provided no room is ever left unattended, and this is optional. Rotating proctor responsibilities. Rotating proctors are responsible for all proctor tasks once they have replaced the existing proctor. Then we're going to look at and we're on page 23. So the interpreter, reader, scribe. So if you have an interpreter, reader, scribe, this is the information. Individuals who serve as an interpreter, reader, or scribe must meet all the following criteria: proficient in English, and if applicable, the appropriate sign language system, experience in administering standardized or other high-stake tests, employed by the school district where the examinee attends school, agrees to administer the test in compliance with ACT policies and procedures, reads and assigns the agreement for their administration, not a relative or guardian of the examinee, not a private consultant or individual tutor whose fees are paid by the examinee or examinee's family, not engage in test preparation activities for ACT during the current academic year. Athletic coaches may not supervise one-on-one testing for a student athlete, even if their sport is not in season at the time of testing. Test scores achieved under the supervision of an individual who does not satisfy all requirements will be canceled. Note, the reader role is not applicable to online testing. Interpreter role. The interpreter may sign verbal instructions to multiple examinees in the same room. The test coordinator is responsible for obtaining the services of a qualified interpreter. The interpreter must sign the interpreter's agreement, and this is optional. The number required is optional. Interpreter responsibilities. If an interpreter signs the verbal instructions, use American Sign Language, signing exact English, conceptually accurate sign English, and or cued speech. Sign all verbal instructions spoken by the room supervisor, interpret any questions from examinees, and interpret the room supervisor's responses. Note, cued speech under this definition means providing visual, phonemic access to the sounds of the words using the official set of phoneme signs. This functions like an exact read aloud because it does not add meaning cues to the communication. Note, test items may not be interpreted for online testing. All interpreters stay in the room throughout the administration and sign an interpreter's agreement. Scribe role. If authorized, an examinee may use a scribe for the writing test or to mark multiple choice answers. Examinees authorized to use a scribe must test 1-to-1. The room supervisor serves as the scribe. The scribe must sign a scribe's agreement. And finally, on the last page, page 24 of the section, the scribe responsibilities. As the examinee dictates the essay or multiple choice answer, write verbatim what the examinee says on the line pages or mark the multiple choice answer on the screen. Do not make any corrections not dictated by the examinee, and then sign a scribe's agreement. Note, the scribe may write down notes dictated by the examinee. The examinee is responsible for telling the scribe what is and is not part of the final essay or the final multiple choice answer. All right, so that's going to conclude the section on staff roles and responsibilities.